Welcome. I'm Doug Morgan, and you're listening to Uncommon Sense, where we hunt for the truth in the topics you're not supposed to talk about, Christianity and politics. On Monday, we started talking about the abortion industry and the new details about how corrupt and evil it really is. Today, we conclude our series and we start out with how it has been gaslighting women. From a series of articles from the Daily Wire comes this opinion piece by Ingrid Skop, and she says, poorly equipped, unsanitary, and understaffed facilities. A sewage leak caused patients to vomit. Positive sexually transmitted infection results went unreported. The New York Times gave a shocking glimpse behind the curtain of Planned Parenthood. Although the legacy media usually defends and promotes the largest U.S. provider of abortions, of course, almost 40% of all abortions in our country now come from them, some things are just too egregious to ignore. This is what Planned Parenthood dispenses under the guise of providing, quote, necessary women's health care, unquote. These grotesque lapses aren't due to a lack of funding, but a lack of desire to provide quality care. According to its 2022-2023 annual report, the collective organization received over $2 billion with a B dollars in income, including $699.3 million in taxpayer funding and $997.3 million in private donations. Yet, they don't prioritize, quote, care no matter what, unquote, as their advertising claims. Instead, they funnel money into lawsuits and to loyal politicians, spending nearly $40 million in the 2024 election cycle. Their goal is to overturn any limitations on abortion, even arguing against basic safety standards that would improve care for the women Planned Parenthood claims to be concerned about. She says, I have seen the disintegration of Planned Parenthood's mission firsthand, as I worked part-time for a loyal Planned Parenthood while I was a OBGYN resident 30 years ago. At the time, I wasn't concerned with my ideological differences on the abortion issue, especially since they never asked me to perform abortions. I enjoyed my time there, caring for underserved women, performing necessary gynecological services such as Pap tests and well women exams and STI testing and contraceptive management. Like many Americans, I assumed that abortion was only a small part of services that they provided, and that other services were addressing women's needs. When I compare Planned Parenthood's 1996-97 annual report, which coincided with my employment there, she says, to today, their mission is clearly more focused on abortion to the negative of other services, whereas they provided 1.5 million Pap tests in 1996. That has plummeted by 87% to just over 197,000 in 2022. Adoption referrals dropped 72% from over 6,200 to 1,700. 14,000 prenatal clients have decreased to 6,300 prenatal services. Meanwhile, the number of abortions, just look at the other end of the coin, right? The number of abortions they sell rises every single year. From over 153,000 in 1996, that's 11.3% of the abortions performed that year, to over 392,000 of the estimated 1 million abortions sold in the U.S. in 2022. That's almost 40%. Planned Parenthood only has a few options to resolve a woman's pregnancy: prenatal services, adoption, miscarriage care, and abortion. 97% of the time, she sold an abortion. As an organization, then, Planned Parenthood appeared to care far less than helping women through their pregnancies or plans of adoption than they do just selling women abortions. She says, my recent experiences with Planned Parenthood are far different from my impression 3 decades ago as an obstetric hospitalist. I have provided care for several women who suffered complications from the abortions Planned Parenthood sold them. In each case, Planned Parenthood failed to offer them an appointment or offered nonsensical advice like rub your tummy when they reported heavy bleeding. But don't just take my word for it, she says. The media have been recently sharing horror stories highlighting their poor quality care. We've seen the stories of incomplete abortions and IUD placed in a pregnant woman, resulting in a stillbirth, and improperly placed contraceptive, which resulted in nerve damage, reported in an expose by the New York Times. 18-year-old Alexis Arguello recently died after a late-term abortion at a Fort Collins, Colorado Planned Parenthood. According to a physician who testified about her death, the facility waited too long to notify emergency responders when she experienced a complication during her abortion at 22 weeks gestation. EMS was allegedly advised not to use sirens to facilitate her rapid transport to the hospital. Instances of Planned Parenthood employees failing to ask questions to identify and assist trafficking women and facilitating transport of minors out of the state for abortions without parental notification have been documented many times. Some Planned Parenthood facilities are preferentially providing abortion drugs, frequently by mail. Women can't go to them if they experience complications, of course, if they get them by mail. Instead, these women will go to the ER, where hospitalists like me, she says, will care for them. And even if a Planned Parenthood facility is nearby, they would be incapable of providing proper treatment. Planned Parenthood marketing has successfully gaslit Americans, convincing them that desperate women would have no health care options without Planned Parenthood. This is untrue. There are thousands of federally qualified health center services sites. These are called FQHCs in the United States, providing many health services for women in need. Medicaid health insurance is accepted by most private healthcare providers, expanding the options for women, and also providing the prenatal services that Planned Parenthood rarely provides. We must look beyond Planned Parenthood's slick marketing and gaze into the soul of this heartless organization. Better care is available for women from other organizations, and women deserve better than Planned Parenthood offers, she says. And I would agree with her on that. It is an evil organization, and they're dispensing right now abortion pills like they're going out of style. And that's a problem. The abortion pill is many times more dangerous than the FDA claimed, with more than 1 in 10 women suffering serious complications is what the new study found. We covered this on Monday a little bit, but I wanted to cover it a little more here. About 11.2% of the over 154,000 women experience a serious adverse event after taking the mifepristone abortion pill in 2023. That's according to the new research that has been done. And that works out to about little over 17,000 women who suffered serious adverse events, which can include hemorrhaging, needing a blood transfusion, an emergency room visit, or even deadly complications like sepsis. This is about 22 times higher than what the FDA put on its label for the drug in 2023. The FDA cited clinical studies saying less than 0.5% of women suffered serious adverse reactions. The two-pill chemical abortion regime, mifepristone, usually followed by misoprostol, aims to end the life of the unborn baby and to expel it from the woman's uterus, of course. However, the drug sometimes fails to expel all the fetal tissue, shocker, which can cause life-threatening complications. Quote, this drastic difference between the disclosed risk and the actual risk to patients undermines informed consent and endangers the lives of pregnant women. This is what the researchers wrote in the study. Quote, this is much different than the lie that women have been told that these drugs are safer than Tylenol, Dr. Christine Francis said. She's a board-certified OBGYN who has been in practice for 2 decades. And plus, the research only analyzed data from insurance claims for government insurance like Medicare and Medicaid between 2017 and 2023. So the total number of women who suffered serious complications is actually likely higher. These are just the ones that filed insurance claims. Over those 6 years, the number of chemical abortions jumped dramatically from less than 100,000 to over 150,000 a year, likely due to the drug's increased availability online, of course. But medication abortions are far more common than surgical abortions now. Medication abortions made up 63% of all abortions in 2023, up from 31% in 2014, according to the Pro-Abortion Guttmacher Institute. The abortion pill is likely the main factor driving up the country's total number of abortions in recent years, even in the wake of the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe versus Wade. Abortion advocates have argued that the abortion pill should be more available in order to order online now that some Republican-led states ban abortions. And a few months before Roe versus Wade was overturned, the FDA scrapped the requirement that women must obtain abortion pills in person from a health provider, allowing them to obtain them online through the mail. Afterward, Francis, the pro-life OBGYN, said one emergency doctor pulled her aside and asked, what has changed? Because we're seeing so many more women come in with these complications. Of course, the mifepristone was originally approved by the FDA in the year 2000. Quote, this bombshell report is further evidence that our government issues phony data and politicizes science to lie to its people. In this case, those lies further political ideologies rather than the health, safety, and well-being of women and children. This is what Doug Trax, founder of the Foundation for the Restoration of America, which commissioned this study, told the Daily Wire. Quote, if you had any other drug that was kind of similar in terms of the magnitude of what this thing does, anywhere north of 2%, and they'd shut it down, is what he said. They're just hell-bent on just increasing the amount of abortions. And you know that's true. You know that if there was any other product, if there was any other medication or anything that would come anywhere close, and we were talking about over 11% of people having serious side effects to this, and what if we saw something else even have a 2%, the media would be all over it and it would be banned. But no, it's an abortion pill, so we're going to harm women anyway, let alone the baby. But I thought that this opinion piece by Andrea Truden was really good. And she said that at first glance, it may look like abortion access in America is shrinking. Since 2020, dozens of brick and mortar abortion facilities have closed. It might be easy to assume this means fewer abortions are happening, but the numbers tell a different and more urgent story. According to research from the University of California's Advancing New Standards in Reproductive Health, there were 758 brick and mortar abortion facilities in the United States in 2020. By 2023, that number had dropped slightly to 741. But what's been largely overlooked is this: 226 new virtual abortion clinics opened during the same time period. The net result? There are now more access points for abortion in America than at any other time in the past decade. 967 in total. This dramatic shift is having real consequences. The Guttmacher Institute, which supports abortion access, estimates there were over 1 million abortions in 2023, up from over 930,000 in 2020. Telemedicine abortions now account for roughly 20% of all abortions nationwide. And organizations like Aid Access and Plan C offer mail-order abortion pills with little to no medical oversight or regulations. This is not just a policy debate. It's a public health crisis in the making. Over the past several years, the Food and Drug Administration has steadily loosened the risk evaluation and mitigation strategy, the REMS, requirements for mifepristone, and that's one of the drugs used, of course, with the medical abortions. What used to require in-person dispensing and medical supervision now often happens without an ultrasound, without lab work, and without an inpatient medical visit. In the world of mail-order abortions, many women never see a doctor before, during, or after the abortion. This systemic removal of actual health care from the abortion process has consequences. Women may be further along in the pregnancy than they realize, something only an ultrasound can confirm. They may have undiagnosed ectopic pregnancies or other medical complications that can be fatal if the abortion pill is taken. They may hemorrhage, suffer infection, or be left alone in a moment of real crisis with no medical professional to perform emergency care. No legitimate area of medicine is allowed to operate this way. If a woman miscarried at home, she would be told to seek prompt medical care. But in the case of abortion, the prevailing approach is increasingly to mail a few pills and send a woman on her way with no verification that she's even a candidate for the drug, and no one to follow up with her if something goes wrong. Meanwhile, the abortion industry continues to advocate not to offer better care, but to make abortions more accessible and less visible. Clinics in permissive states are multiplying. Pro-abortion organizations are funding interstate travel. Online abortion pill networks continue to grow, and many of them operate outside the regulations of state and federal officials. So what does this mean for those of us working to support women facing an unexpected pregnancy? Well, it means that we must meet women where they are, online, on their phones, in the quiet of their uncertainty. Pregnancy help organizations, long known for offering compassionate care and real alternatives to abortion, are rising to the challenge. Many are adapting to this new landscape by offering virtual consultations and telehealth services and chat-based support through national hotlines. In fact, Over the past year alone, the number of pregnancy help organizations offering telehealth has grown by 172%. This isn't just about keeping pace with change. It's about ensuring that women know they still have real choices, and about keeping them safe. While abortion providers invade digital spaces with minimal accountability, pregnancy help centers are doing the hard work of offering personalized care, often at no cost, along with life-altering solutions like housing and medical services and material support for mothers and babies. The battleground has shifted, but so has the movement that exists to walk with women through one of the most vulnerable seasons of their lives. We cannot afford to assume that a decrease in physical abortion facilities means the need for pregnancy help is any less urgent. If anything, the need is growing because the silence and secrecy of the digital abortion era leave many women more isolated than ever before. That's why innovation and compassion must go hand in hand. In a world where abortion is a click away, the vital human connection offered by pregnancy help should be as well. And I really think that's good news that we see these crisis pregnancy centers doing this shift and meeting these women right where they're at. And there's more good news. We don't just want to focus on the bad, or the evil. We do like to see the good news, and it's encouraging. The South Carolina Supreme Court rejected an effort from Planned Parenthood to water down the state's pro-life heartbeat law, ruling recently that the state could enforce its protections for unborn babies at around 6 weeks of development. In its decision, the court ruled against Planned Parenthood's claim that the law could only protect babies at around 9 weeks of development, claiming that was when a baby's heartbeat could first be detected. Well, the court said that the legislature had intended to provide unborn babies at around 6 weeks when the heart activity can first be detected, ruling against the abortion giant. This is what they said, quote, "While we do not frame our holding today in the shorthand terms of a number of weeks, the biologically identifiable moment in time we hold is the fetal heartbeat. Under the 2023 Act, occurs in most instances at approximately 6 weeks of pregnancy." That's what the majority wrote. Well, the question the justices were addressing was, at what point in a woman's pregnancy does a fetal heartbeat occur? As defined by South Carolina's 2023 Fetal Heartbeat and Protection from Abortion Act, the court defined this as when a medical professional may objectively determine to have occurred by the existence of the cardiac activity of electrical impulses detectable as a sound with diagnostic medical technology such as a transvaginal ultrasound device, unquote. The top South Carolina officials celebrated the decision, of course, saying that time and time again we have defended the right of life in South Carolina. This ruling is a resounding win for the rule of law and protecting the unborn in South Carolina. That's what the Attorney General Alan Wilson had to say. He says, "Today's decision reaffirms that our elected legislators, not out-of-state interest groups, hold the power to shape South Carolina's policies in accordance with the values of its people." The Susan B. Anthony Pro-Life American Organization also praised the decision in the court, saying that Planned Parenthood has failed in attempting to rewrite the science of human development to further their agenda for more abortions and more profit. The level of science denial from the abortion giant that receives $800,000 in taxpayer funding annually should astound South Carolinians who overwhelmingly elected Governor Henry McMaster and state Republicans after they enacted the heartbeat law. But besides the unborn baby, there are parents that we are fighting for as well. I mean, abortion isn't just about saving the life of the baby. That's a huge part of it, obviously. The killing of an unborn baby is just the root of evil. But it doesn't just stay there. It's also about the parents as well. And it's not even just about the mother, as indicated by this. Frasier actor Kelsey Grammer, you probably know him. He is reflecting on his unborn children who were killed during abortions as part of his new memoir out. It came out here just a little bit ago. It's entitled Karen, A Brother Remembers. The title refers to the rape and murder of Grammer's sister in 1975 when she was 18. He says, "I know that many people do not have a problem with abortion. And though I have supported it in the past, it eats away at my soul." That's what the 70-year-old TV star wrote on page 6 of that memoir. Grammer writes that his girlfriend got pregnant in 1974 while he was attending the Juilliard School. He says, "I never wanted her to accuse me of being unwilling to have the child, but I also did not plead with her to save his life. I supported the idea that a woman has the right to do whatever she wants with her own body, and I still do, but it was hard for me, and still is. Quote, a child's right to exist? Of course. Life." He also said, 6 months before my sister was slaughtered, I volunteered to have my son's body vacuumed out of his mother's. I regret it, Grammer said in the memoir, adding that he's critical of so-called doctors who have executed generations of children in this manner. Quote, I have no idea how they call themselves doctors, but I offer no controversy, he wrote. Next, the Frasier star recalled a situation where his current wife, Kate, was pregnant with twins and was advised by doctors to abort one child to save the other when his unborn son's sac ruptured in utero. The couple decided to go ahead with the abortion of the one twin. Later, Grammer's daughter, Faith, was born healthy. And he said, we killed him, our son. We killed our son so Faith might live. We wept as we watched his heart stop. We saw it. It is the greatest pain I have known, he wrote. Grammer has been married 4 times and has 7 children and 1 grandchild. He is among the few major Hollywood celebrities who openly support conservatives and Republican political candidates, including President Donald Trump. He actually supported him publicly as well. And I think what's happening here with him is what happens so often with parents that go through abortions, whether it be just for a number. He is saying here that he regrets it right down to where he feels it in his soul, the decision that he has made in order to abort his own children. And even though he has living children, this does not cover up the pain that he feels for the decision that he made with those. And that's what we see over and over and over again. And it's heartbreaking. It is, because when they come to the realization that of what has been done here, it will eat at one's soul. It will eat at them. They will have lifetime regrets for what is happening. And what we have to do, we have to continue to do as Christians, we need to continue to fight for the life of those unborn children. And there's good news, obviously, good things that are happening. There's a lot of bad things still happening. But the fight is something that needs to happen, and it's something that we can't shy away from. We need to continue to fight against this abortion industry. Planned Parenthood being the giant in this industry, but abortion in general, we need to fight against it. We are fighting for these children that can't fight for themselves, and we are fighting for these parents who don't know any better. And I would love to hear what you think of it. I would love to hear what you've maybe even done. And you can always do that at uncommonsensepodcast.com. We are on YouTube now as of the first of the year. I know we went first 5 years without being on YouTube. We decided we heard from you. There was some that were requesting that you like to hear your podcasts and things on YouTube. And so we're there now, and you can you can like us, you can subscribe and give us a thumbs up. All that is much appreciated. And thank you for listening. This podcast is a production of Morganite Communications.